All right, so in this video, I wanted to go through all of the new scoreboard updates with the pitch clock being incorporated. I found this idea on Reddit, and shout out to this user who decided to make a gallery with all of the different score bugs and how the pitch clock is incorporated. And then I did want to talk about the pitch clock a little bit because this is a serious change to the MLB. They're basically shaving half an hour off of these games. I would say generally it's going to help significantly, but there are a few issues with it. The first thing we're going to be looking at is ESPN. So this is opening night. They had the White Sox and the Astros. You can see, looks like it's tucked into the right corner. When it comes to the pitch clock, my opinion, personally, I want the pitch clock to be not even a factor. Like 99% of the time, I don't want to be looking at it. I don't want it to be a factor in the game. I just want the game to flow naturally. So you're going to see some of these scoreboards have the pitch clock up. It's almost like a shot clock to where it starts at 15 and it's visibly shown on the scoreboard starting counting down from 15 all the way to 1. I personally do not think that's the way to do it. The only time a pitch clock should show up on a scoreboard is if it gets below 5 seconds. I want it minimalized 99% of the time. These pitchers are not going to have any sort of problems with violations. The only issue I see is with the relievers sometimes, but the starting pitchers, unless you're in like a bases loaded jam, they're not going to have problems getting it there. You know, these are professionals. They know what they're doing. And I actually think the pitch clock is helping the pitchers because there's been multiple times early in the season, I look up and it's an 0-2 count. And if you're a pitcher, take advantage of that. Like Max Scherzer was saying in spring training, you can really set the tone and even go faster than you have to really be aggressive on these hitters, get them down in the count early. And I just want it de-emphasized. I think if it gets below 5 seconds, you can bring it up. But starting the clock kind of like a shot clock to where it's always visible, I don't think that's necessary. This is the NBC one. This is NBC Sports Philadelphia. They have like 3 or 4 different regional teams. You can see where it is. I think it fits in pretty well. They did a good job. NBC, their graphics package is always impressive. I always like it. This is Bally Sports. You can see it's tucked in between all the bases right there, you know, and it's just disappointing with Bally Sports continuing. Like, we really need to see the Atlanta Braves, Washington Nationals score. Why is that taking up half the screen? Why have they not corrected that after 3 years? Well, I guess it's because they have no employees considering they're going bankrupt, but I don't know. Either way, in typical Bally Sports fashion, I believe it counts down from 15. Again, we don't need it counting down from 15. The only time I want to see the little clock is if it gets under 5 seconds, it should flash up and count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, personally, that's just kind of how I've seen it. This is the Root Sports one. Kind of hard to see in the bottom right. Yeah, you would think they would. This is the AT&T Sports / Root Sports. At what point do they update this scoreboard? I mean, it's looked like this for like 6 years now. I mean, come on. I just think it looks bad. It looks kind of like a third grader did it to me. This is the New York Mets one. You can see, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's fine. You know, again, I would appreciate maybe only showing it if it gets under 5 seconds. We don't need to see it every single time. I would just rather let the game flow. And then this is the Boston Red Sox one, and their scoreboard just has not changed at all either. But I will say I do like that it's red. When it gets to 5 seconds left, it flashes red, so you know the pitch has to come. That's something that I like that they incorporated. But at what point do the Red Sox upgrade their scoreboard? I mean, that thing looks like it was pulled from 1992. But again, they just haven't done it. And then this is the Los Angeles Dodgers one. You can see it's in the bottom right. I would like it to flash red when it gets to 5 seconds. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to tell when there's limited time left on the clock. You can see right there. And then this is the Chicago Cubs one. Another one where you see it's got 1 second left on it at that point. The bases are loaded. This was opening day. You know, I don't have a problem with this one. It is kind of a lot to look at. Like, there's the count. There's 1 out, an 0-1. And then I don't think it shows, when the clock is on this one, I don't think it shows the pitches of the pitcher, like how many pitches Marcus Stroman has thrown at the same time. So that could be a bit of an issue for that one. And it just looks like there's a lot of information jammed in a really small space. This is the Baltimore Orioles one. You can see, I don't think it needs to be red when there's 6 seconds left. I would say make it red when there's 5 seconds left so we know, or even maybe like 3 seconds, like, because it just seems better in terms of like a potential violation. It doesn't need to go red when there's 6 seconds left, but I think that's a pretty good incorporation of the pitch clock. Just looking at that, it seems to have everything that's relevant. That looks pretty good to me. And then this is the Toronto Blue Jays one. You can see it in the bottom right next to the inning, top of the 7th with 5 seconds left. I like the Blue Jays overall graphics package. It's good, but I would like it to flash red when there's 5 seconds left. And then this is the Fox one. Now, I think Fox does it the best, to where it doesn't really flash up. The pitch clock doesn't flash up until there's like 6 or 7 seconds left. And then as soon as the pitcher goes into motion, it goes back down. So it's very minimal. You don't see it very much. I would say, I think a better spot for it might be if you move the out over left more and then you put it nestled right below the count. That might be a better spot for it. But I think this is the best incorporation actually, you know what? That probably wouldn't look good, because then it would be off-centered. Like, the outs would be off-centered if you're not going to be showing it as much. I think that's just the best strategy when it comes to the pitch clock. We don't want the pitch clock to really be noticed for 99% of the game. We want it to flow naturally. We don't want to be seeing it. So I think that's the best way to do it. And you can see it does turn red with 3 seconds left right there. And then I just did want to talk about kind of the current situation within the MLB. A game yesterday, Guardians, Mariners, 2 hours and 3 minutes. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If last year, if there was a game that finished in 2 hours and 3 minutes, it would be, I mean, it's almost impossible. It's like, that's a 9-inning game with probably like 3 combined hits. It's just, and we're going to be seeing games under 2 hours now. It has to be, obviously it's good for the MLB, but if you are the MLB, it's got to be a little bit scary. Like, you have slashed your product by 30 minutes basically in the span of a year. It's just a weird thing that we've never seen from a big-time sport in America. You know, and overall, it is a good thing. The only negative I'll say with the pitch clock, normally, like when you go to an MLB game, there's a peacefulness to it. And to me, that goes completely away. With the pitch clock, we're constantly seeing pitches. And I know it's a good thing. In this day and age, the MLB had to adapt to this type of thing where, you know, you've got all these kids on TikTok. They want constant entertainment. The MLB cannot supply that if games are 3 hours, 30 minutes long. You've got pitching changes. You've got pitchers taking an hour to throw 2 pitches, you know, 3-2 counts, things like that. It's just, I understand why they do it, but we also have to realize the idea where, you know, the MLB was kind of like the only professional sport where we could go to a game. Maybe it's a low attendance. You just go. You just want to relax. You know, it's just not like that anymore. It's just constant, which overall, if you're watching on TV, it's a really good thing. But if you're going to the ballpark, it is certainly a little bit less of an experience, although I will say I've been very impressed with the MLB attendance so far. You know, obviously opening day is going to be a sellout for everyone except the Athletics, but the second and third games we've seen within the MLB, I mean, we're seeing T-Mobile Ballpark in Seattle. They're at like 37,000, which is just crazy for early April, even though it's a Saturday game. They've got their right field upper deck open. You know, Dodger Stadium drawing 48K. A lot of these places doing very well right now in the MLB in terms of attendance. We're going to have to see what ends up happening. You know, I even saw Marlins Park the day after opening day. They had 14,000, which is a win. That's a win for sure. Or it's not Marlins Park anymore, Lone Depot Park, whatever. But so the attendance seems to be very good. I know we are really early, but I did like the looks of that. So that is the current situation when it comes to the pitch clock, how it's incorporated. You know, I think there has to be, let's not focus on it. These are professionals 99.9% of the time. I mean, we're only in day 3 and it seems like the pitch clock is a non-factor. These guys are just used to it. These dudes are getting paid multiple millions of dollars. They understand they've already got it down. Imagine what it's going to look like in just 2 or 3 months. I don't even think it's going to be an issue. Outside of a reliever who has a real problem or like a bases loaded jam, the pitch timer, the pitch clock should be completely irrelevant. And I like what Fox is doing. They're not treating it like a shot clock, because we always see the shot clock, whether it's at 24 seconds or 5 seconds in the NBA. With college basketball, it's the same thing. It's always on the screen. We don't need to see that, in my opinion, with the MLB pitch clock. I think the only time we should see it is when there's 5 seconds left. It flashes up very small, and it counts down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't need to see it, you know, with the pitcher coming set, and there's 13, 12, 11. I don't need that. That's my opinion. Maybe people think differently. I know it's kind of like the NFL play clock, how they do that. But we'll have to see how these things end up evolving. But I just wanted to talk about that because I saw it and do a little video on it. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.